If I can't afford to take a break, why should I? Get this question a lot from entrepreneurs I'm working with, um, where they're like, I could be making money, I could be making a legacy, I could be providing for my family, I could be getting a new customer. Why the heck should I take a week off? Why should I take a day off? Why should I take an afternoon off? Why should I stop and eat lunch? Tell me why I should stop and eat lunch. Because I could be out here grinding and you're on that, you should rest. Well, there's a few reasons, and actually they directly impact. Um, I would argue the success of your company. The first reason why you should take a break, aside from the physical parts of it and all those things, we already addressed a little bit of that. We don't need to get into that. The first reason is that it means you're really building for the long term versus the short term. The short term is all nighters. I used to live in Silicon Valley. In that era, it was Red Bull and vodkas. I'm not a fan of either, so that was not my culture. But it was living in SF, San Francisco. Shout out to y'all. At that era, it was folks that are much younger than me in their early 20s. Red Bull and vodkas, programming all night, doing UX, which is the user design or user experience, all night, doing whatever it is all night, grinding it out in the hopes of spinning something up, we used to say, spinning something up, some type of startup, some type of idea, so that they would get funding or more importantly, be bought by, at the time, I think it was five, because there's five major tech companies now. I think it was six at the time. One of the six major tech companies, including like Amazon or Apple or Facebook, which is now Meta. That was the energy. And let me tell you straight up, I was a journalist at the time. I wasn't even an entrepreneur yet. And I was reporting for the New York Post, shout out to them and other folks, Playboy, shout out to y'all as well. And so I was outside, not just as a reporter, but just being part of the culture. And folks would be on that track. I've seen early 20-somethings, 22, 23, just out of college, come to SF. They had that lifestyle for a few months, maybe a year. And then suddenly they get the sunken eyes. It's like they become shells of themselves. I've seen it. Like, even just thinking about it, you probably see it in my eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I know some people got lost out there. I'll leave it at that. Some people got lost out there in that fast life. What I learned from that is that if you're not taking care of yourself, you're betting on the short term. What I always say to my coaching clients, if you're a coaching client of mine, I've almost guaranteed I've said this to you at one period of time or another during our sessions. Whatever systems, whatever you're doing right now, is that sustainable 5 years from now? I'm recording this where you're hanging out with me live in 2024, summertime. So summertime, July, whatever month it is, July of 2029. Think about that. However you're treating your body, however you're treating your family, however you're treating yourself. Are you going to be good for, say, 2,000 days? That's about right? 1,800 days? Maybe closer to 1,500? Let's say 1,500 days. You going to do this for 1,500 days? It's not a threat. It's a promise. Because what we do regularly becomes our habits. And as one philosopher said, our habits become who we are. Because it's the stuff that we repeat. So if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not taking care and connecting with your family, chosen or blood family, I don't mean just your mama, chosen or blood family, people that you love, people that you care about. If you're not taking care of your customers, if you're really about the grind culture, if you're really about, I'm going to make an impact and my company is going to be worth $1 trillion, or my company is going to be on the cover of Inc. magazine, shout out to Inc. magazine, I write for them. Is that the way you're going to do it? Because if you're really about that life, as we used to say, if you're really about that life, you'd be handling things differently. You'd actually be cultivating the patience. So if you're questioning, why should I take a break? My question is, why shouldn't you take a break? If you're interested in the longevity of yourself and your company, and even after you sell this company, longevity of yourself after that. all the neglect that we put into our bodies, our souls, our minds, emotionally, it's not like it goes away. As the famous book says, the body keeps score. It doesn't go away. And so whatever you're sacrificing, however you're sacrificing, it better be worthwhile. And often the sacrifices we make are so short-sighted that we're not able to do it. The business, which is bringitworth.tv, is now part of that business. So you're experiencing part of my business. It's been around for more than a couple decades. I would not be around if I didn't take care of myself along with it. And that leads to the second reason why the pause makes sense, is that it allows you to have enough objectivity to actually strategize, to have the long-term thinking. I've taken a couple breaks with bringitworth.tv. Like, I've done a few reruns here and there. I'm usually here every week, usually once a week. But I've taken some breaks and all that. And when I've taken those breaks, I'll be playing with my kids. They're still young enough where we play with Legos and stuff, which I appreciate that time. So we'll be playing with Legos or something. I'll be taking a shower. When it's not a million degrees outside, I'll go take a walk. It's quite mountainous here in Las Vegas, believe it or not. I know a lot of y'all never left the Strip, but it's a whole bunch of mountains around if you look up. And so, doing really, really mild hikes, like on some local hills here in our neighborhoods. And that's when these ideas come, including some of the most popular episodes that you guys have really dug here on Bring It Worth TV. And so it gives you enough time to actually strategize. And some of the recommendations I'm about to give you will help you with that process. So number one, if you're really in it in the long term, if you're really about that life, you're like, I'm going to go ahead and have a legacy like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, whomever, Tyler Perry, if that's more your vibe, whatever. You can't grind every single day at 24 hours a day. You can do that. But again, I'm middle-aged now. That stuff will catch up to you. Probably sooner rather than later. Again, I've seen it. I used to live in Silicon Valley. I've seen it. Trust me on this. So if you're really about the long term, eat that lunch. Take that nap. For God's sake, please take a shower. Touch some grass, as they used to say. So that's why you do it. Seth Godin, shout out to Seth, talks about this, where he's like, if you end up burning yourself out, you're of no use to anybody, especially your customer. So if you're really about serving the world and you burn yourself out, you're not going to be serving anybody, including yourself. It's better to go ahead and take the long cut, as he says, rather than the shortcut. Take your time. Every single business that I've built, including this one that you're watching right here, took time from the couple, literally 10 subscribers, to the 18,000 of y'all that are joining me now. If I was trying to push so hard where it had to be overnight, man, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't be talking to y'all right now. I'd be probably somewhere asleep trying to catch up on my life. So that's number one. The second part of it is that when you actually do take a break, it gives you enough objectivity to actually strategize in a big way. This leads to my recommendation. Mike Michalowicz, shout out to you again. Great book called Clockwork. I know the macro part of it. I'm actually deep diving into some of the details of it, but I really like the book. Here's the basic idea. You should be able to create systems so that your business runs like clockwork. That's it. And so he talks about systems thinking, which I didn't realize until recent years, where I actually am a systems thinker, even when it comes to like organized stuff for like with my partner, for my kids and all that stuff. It's like, I'm always thinking systems. I'm like, okay, this happened. What system can we build so that, especially if something happens like 3 times, like what system can we build to make sure that we're good to go and this can, and we can go ahead and resolve this so it doesn't happen in the future. Not about making rules and regulations, more about, again, building systems, which is what we're really talking about here. If you're able to create a good system, you can actually stop. I was able to stop for a few days last week and nothing went off the rails. At least I know. I'll keep checking around. But so far, that's because I have systems in place. Again, some of the stuff I'm recommending in this episode. What I love about Mike's book and his argument is that he takes you through what constitutes a good system. And it was a great analogy. I don't think It's mentioned, I think, briefly in the book, but I heard it when he was talking on the podcast. Love hearing him talk. He's a great speaker. And he was talking about how, I think it was with doctors, or it might have been specifically chiropractors, where if someone comes in with an issue in their, say, lower back, right, as I straighten up, in their lower back, what the chiropractor will ask about is how they sleep. Because sleeping affects your hips and how you sleep. So if you sleep upside down, like you're being held hostage, or you sleep on your back, or you sleep fetal position like a baby, you sleep with somebody, you're like spooning them, big spoon, little spoon, the 20 different sleeping positions. You know what I'm talking about. They'll ask about where your hips are. Because if there's misalignment in what's right below you, then what's right above you will compensate for it. So if you have lower back issues, they look at the hips. If you have hip issues, they look at your knees. If you have knee issues, they look at your ankles. I can keep going. I have a headache. Oh, that's because I'm stressed out and my shoulders are up. That's putting strain on my brain. Like clockwork. Great name. There's not a better name in the universe as far as I'm concerned. Whoever came up with the name, kudos for you. That's what he talks about. If you do not have the systems in place to take a break, then you're absolutely right. You won't be able to take a break. If you're the sole proprietor, if you're the founder, even if you're the co-founder, no, it ain't going to happen, guys, because the list is too long. But if you have systems in place and you're able to use the processes, as Mike talks about in his book, maybe you can create a system where you can take a break and make it a little bit broader. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the episode as far as what our version of a break is. I think that's really important too. Anyway, congrats to Mike, and fantastic stuff going on there. All right. If you're going to go ahead and learn more about the systems, and actually build a break, then you're going to have to work on systems. Sorry, got mixed up here again. Technology. With you're going to have to build those systems. Those systems could be internal, or talked about they can be external. One of my favorite systems is Meet Edgar. Shout out to them. Solo female founder. Shout out to Laura. You're killing it. I love your work. Let me get over to Meet Edgar. There we go. And we're going to show my Meet Edgar. And I'll make it a little bit broader so you guys can see what's happening. This is my Meet Edgar. And Meet Edgar is really simple. What it does is it says, okay, you want to push stuff out to social media. And if you're familiar with my work, I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media. This is one of the secrets. You want to push out stuff on social media. Some of y'all that I work with, some of y'all that are my colleagues, you say, I can't leave social media, Damon. I need to be on there all the time for engagement, and because myself, my business, or the people that I work for, that I consult for, whatever, they need their stuff pushed out. So I can't leave. I'm stuck. Excuse me. Even when I'm on vacation, I need to have my phone at all times. This helps with that. It basically says, Meet Edgar basically says, okay, you know what you want to post. And it might be what we call evergreen. So evergreen, just like the trees, they last forever. They're always in season. You know what I mean? They never go away. They don't really molt or shed. You can't tell what time of year it is based on looking at an evergreen tree for the most part, because they're always going to look the same. That's what it means by evergreen content, right? So a lot of the stuff that I do on Bring Your Worth TV is evergreen. We're always going to be talking about taking a vacation. It might be more pertinent during, say, holiday season, or during the summer here in the United States, or in Australia, maybe 6 months from now when you guys have summer. But it's always going to be a pertinent topic. That's evergreen. Evergreen might be, hey, check out our website. We have these these wares for you, and let us know how we can serve you. That has no time limit on it. If you have content like that, Meet Edgar's like, bet. Go ahead and put your content into what we call a library, and then set up periods of time. As you can see, periods of time when it's going to post. And it's like, all right, Damon, so Monday at 5:45 a.m. on LinkedIn, that's when you want to share a Bring Your Worth episode. You got almost 400 episodes of Bring Your Worth. Put all the posts into our library, and then we're going to pick a random one, and we'll go and share it. The beauty about that is twofold. Number one, I don't need to do anything, right? Again, shout out to Laura and Meet Egg. That's one. The second thing, right? So I can go about my business again, hang out with my kids, whatever. The second thing is that it allows a level of randomness and freshness that I couldn't even do physically. You might go ahead and be on LinkedIn or a certain platform and see Bringworth episode, I think it was episode 67, which is one of my most popular episodes. It's about Brene Brown and interacting with people that you don't like. In fact, I'm positive it's in the description below because, again, it's one of the most popular episodes. So I have it in the description if you want to check it out. I think it's episode 67. That was 300 plus episodes ago. Even though it's one of my most popular episodes on Bringworth TV, even I forgot about it. And Meet Edgar's like, oh, no, let's go ahead and get it out so other people can see this episode. Let's have people check it out. Or it could be an episode that's an underperforming episode or something that few people have watched. Like I have one of my favorite episodes about the difference between price and cost. Super short episode, so proud of it. I love the concept. In fact, I got it from Seth Godin. Shout out to him again. And Meet Edgar might be like, okay, let's push it out. Totally random. And it's at the time of day that makes the most sense. And that's how the whole system's set up. It's really that simple. I love working with them. As you can tell, I'm enthused. I don't even use that word. I guess I'm using it today. I'm enthused about them, and they are right. It's fresh. Thank you, Angel. I see you over on Amazon. It's fresh. It's fresh as hell, as we used to say. And so be sure and check them out. Links below. You'll get a bonus if you end up using my link. Go ahead and see what's happening. See what's up. Like, yeah. Really good stuff. And let's go to one of my favorite episodes. I just did this recently. Yes, 89. Real recently. It was the last episode I did, but a last official episode. There's other episodes on there. If you're a fan and subscribe, be sure to subscribe below if you didn't want to catch all the goodness. How pausing builds success. This is actually a compilation episode of 3 strong nuggets. And it's super short. I want to say it's like 6-7 minutes long about why pausing matters. I talk about the Johari window, which is about how we can know ourselves and others. I talk about the systems and the awareness that we get when we pause. And I get into how we can figure out our priorities so that when we pause, we'll make sure our priorities are taken care of. And I love it. Angel, if you want to, thanks for the shout out. If you want to go and catch me, you can catch me over on LinkedIn or as well as bringyourworth.tv. I'm live there right now. So thank you so much for the shout out over on Amazon. There's like 3 different platforms, so I'm trying to give love to everybody. So I appreciate you, Angel. So that one episode, which I have right there, I think is really crucial to this conversation. If you're going to pause, you need to have the correct reason to do so. Because you need to be motivated to create a system. You need to be motivated to get the support, as I talked about earlier in the episode. You have to be motivated to have the priorities that are down to like one index card and focus on those so that you have time to focus on what you really care about. You need to be motivated enough to do that. This episode hopefully will provide some of that for you. All right. Love the conversation, and as well as over on Amazon. So shout out to y'all over on Amazon. Again, my name is Damon Brown. I'm an entrepreneurial coach. I'm help side hustlers, solopreneurs, also non-traditional entrepreneurs. So if you're underrepresented, undersupported, if you're trying to do things while having little kids at home, which is my thing, or you got parents that you're taking care of, older relatives, shout out to y'all that are really supporting the caregiving, and you're trying to still make an impact on the world. I'm here to support you with that love. Bring Your Worth TV. This episode 390, as I talked about. There's 389 episodes behind us. Subscribe, check it out, have fun. There's a lot of topics that, as I've coached several hundred of y'all at this point, and there's so many topics that have come up in those conversations. I'm a one-on-one coach. So in those intimate, deep conversations that I've had with y'all, I try to do episodes that are related to those. So be sure and rewind it back, see what's going on. You subscribe for free. I think it's always going to be free. BringYourWorth.tv. And you get my latest book, complete Bring Your Worth collection, at all the platforms. Got so many books up here, I got to find it again. Containing my 8 books, 7 or 8, losing count, 7 or 8 books in the Bring Your Worth series so far. And that'll be the best hint I can give for y'all. All right. If you have any comments or questions, if you feel conflicted about where you can actually if you can actually take a break, be sure yeah, throw something in the in the comments. No links, please, no sneaky links in the comments. Throw a comment in the comments, and we'll go from there.